Holy airport departures. This is Flight Check, Season 5, Episode 8. We're back, once again, talking all aspects of FlyQuest and League of Legends professionally. My name, as always, is Sandy Toes. To my left and my extra left, my fellow hosts, Noxwar and Curly Double Q. Nox is actively making the thumbnail for tonight's VOD as we speak. I think what he really wants to do is just avoid working on it at like 8:30 at night his time.
Also, I would like to just immediately go to dinner after this.
Yes, he'd like to eat as soon as the show is over. Well, it'll probably be a shorter show tonight, not as much to discuss, but we do have a few topics, of course. Thankfully, FlyQuest provided us with some news that we are able to use for the evening. And I think this first topic, we're just going to dive straight into it. We did start the show a little late, so we'll get going on it. It was leaked by LCS Eevee this past weekend that Damonte, performance coach of FlyQuest fame, will be departing from the team. And I need to get this accurate. I believe he's going to Shopify Rebellion, is the reporting. Yes. So, Curly, I want to ask you first, and not just to give Nox time to finish the thumbnail and whatnot, but, I mean, your first thoughts on this. You know, set to join Shopify as an assistant coach for the spring split, previously performance coordinator. I mean, how are you feeling about this? You know, obviously it's a loss for the team, but is this concerning for you? What does this tell you about FlyQuest prospects going into the next split?
I mean, for one, I am sad to see Damonte go. I think he's actually just really good at facilitating a quality culture at whatever team he's at. Ever since he's transitioned from being a pro to being a coach, you've kind of felt it in anything. Like with Energy in their premiere season, I'm sure like there was a lot of credit that was going towards him as part of that massive coaching staff. And I think like whatever he contributes to the locker room and all that stuff is like, it must be something good. And so sad that we're going to be losing that. Hopeful that it doesn't make us fall apart. But for Shopify on their side, honestly, to me, it shows kind of a good dedication to, all right, we want to make sure we don't just bow out in a year like the people we got our slot from. You know?
Yeah.
And so I'm very hopeful for them, especially because, you know, you've got the Ludwig, like the Moist investment, and then now you've got Damonte. So that's telling me that this year they're really trying to develop both a brand and a team.
Yeah.
And so no matter what that looks like, I think they're really trying to lay groundworks of, okay, this is what Shopify League of Legends will look like for the future. So good luck over there. I'll miss you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm in agreement. It's definitely, it's a tough loss. I think obviously wish Damonte all the best on the new team. I am hopeful that him joining Shopify will help them to perform better. We want to see more competition in the league than, you know, just the, you know, top 4 of Cloud9, 100 Thieves, Team of FlyQuest. Having a 5th team in there to really push those first 4 would certainly go a long way towards increasing the level of the league entirely. And I think for me, just like, Shopify has the players on it that we know have that ceiling. Fudge, Contracts, Palafox, Bvoy, we've all seen them perform. I think Seos is probably the lone unknown quantity, the guy to me who like still has to kind of prove himself a little bit in the upcoming splits, but we have seen really high highs from all 4 of the other positions, right? I recall Bvoy a couple years ago even being talked about as, a top 3, bot laner in the league. Just
I mean,
because
he was
of,
all pro last year, even.
yeah, I mean, he was putting up incredible numbers and performing incredibly well on a very disappointing, I believe, TSM at the time, right? So, and he's stuck around in the league to his credit. Yeah, Fudge contracts Palafox. We know what they can do. So I'm hopeful that Damonte can maybe elevate things a little bit for them. Knox, how about you? First on, what does losing Damonte mean for FlyQuest, do you think? And then second, what does it mean for Shopify to gain a guy like Damonte in the locker room, so to speak?
I mean, I think in general, our guys get along just fine. They don't necessarily, not to say he wasn't beneficial for us, right? I imagine that in terms of vibes and making sure everyone was like focused and like in high spirits and able to actually really maximize their output in terms of performance, I think he probably did a lot for us. But at the same time, in the long run of things, like in regards to like the amount of preparation done by coaches and the amount of like practice put in by the players and so on and so forth, I would have to say it's probably negligible in the overall scheme of things, which I know that sounds kind of contradictory of everything that like it's like it doesn't make sense with what I'm just saying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It sucks, but it also I'm not concerned about it. I think the league team will be more than fine. I think because he did do some work with some of the other FlyQuest squads in either fighting game, or I know he did a lot of work with FlyQuest Red Valorant. So I mean, I can't necessarily speak for those teams or anything like that, or those particular individuals, but at least for the league team, I'm not necessarily worried in that regard. As for what he's going to do for Shopify, I do think he's still a very smart league player. He constantly on his stream will talk about how, like everything he's thinking about game wise, and he still absolutely has the mind for a coach. I think the assistant coach position is exactly where he should be, not a head coach position, so they're filling the correct spot for him. And then on top of that, I mean, this is kind of a brand new team. You have, especially I feel like if you put Damonte and Palafox back together again, that's the big thing. Remember, this is when Palafox was at his best, is in 2023 when he had Damonte as his like performance coach. Guess who's back together again, right? Mm-hmm. If you can get Palafox and contracts working together again like they were back in 2023, you can kind of get Fudge line with how that mid jungle operates, and then you can kind of wrap in Bvoy and Seos. I don't know, man. I could see a reason why it kind of works out for the Shopify team and they start becoming a bit of a threat later on this year. So I think it's not as bad of a loss for FlyQuest, but it is a massive gain for Shopify. That's probably how I want to put it the best.
Yeah, I think that's a good perspective on it. Yeah, we've still got what we have in the analysis and coaching department, but Shopify certainly is gaining a ton with this addition. Would this move at all? I mean, I think for me, it might bump Shopify up a little bit in my power rankings. I think I wasn't quite sure where I had them. I think I was still looking at Dignitas maybe as a number 5. But now maybe Shopify could battle for that. Does this, like... I mean, you just said, Knox, like, it's a massive gain for Shopify. But, like, how massive is it? Is it, like, pushing them into the top 4 conversation? Is it just making them the best of the bottom 4? Like, where is it kind of putting them for you?
I think it solidifies them over Dignitas for sure, because obviously them and Dignitas finished 5-6 this past split, so to speak. So I think now this pickup solidifies them in the top 5, and now they can fight for 4th. But the thing is, I'm just not sure if Revan as a head coach for Shopify is got what it takes to get this team into a top 4 angle. So unfortunately, I'm going to leave him at 5th, But I think the jump and inclusion of Shopify getting him is going to absolutely solidify them as the fifth best team, and they're going to be competitive with the top four. They're no longer. It's no longer going to be this solid gap in between. It'll be like, hey, they will take games off of you in the coming best of threes or best of fives even.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Curly, how about you? Same question. Is this, how big of a gain is this, do you think, for Shopify? Like enough to push them into top four, or still in that bottom half?
I think it's very significant, for sure. I think it's a huge step up. I don't know if we'll be able to see immediately in spring. It depends on how hard they really get into things in this offseason and how quickly they onboard Damonte. I because this is just leaks. There's no official transition that I know about yet. So for the spring split, it's going to be kind of like, it's going to make you better. But summer, that's where I'm really going to be doing my judgment. In split 3, I think that's where they've got the best chance to really show the value of him. And I think saying that they can compete against the top 4 is a good analysis, because it's not going to inherently push them all the way. I don't know much about their current head coach, so I don't know kind of what record he has. But still, with how proven Damonte has, I do see him competing against us, especially if if we keep up kind of how the end of this split went. Some of the top 4 might be more vulnerable than we might have thought at the preseason.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure. I think those are good points. All right. Well, I think that's about all we can wring out of the Damonte news. But obviously sad to see him go. A loss for the team. Shopify's gain. But good things are on the horizon, I'm sure, for both FlyQuest and Shopify. All right, moving forward. First stand is around the corner, believe it or not. That's crazy to me that it's already so close. Starting this next Monday. So basically, day 1 of games will be done by the time we are talking next week. And we know all 5 teams now. From Korea, it's going to be Hanwha Life. China's sending Top Esports. LTA is sending Liquid. And then this weekend, EMEA, in what I think most would consider an upset, Carmine Corps is heading over. Not G2, shockingly. And from
Upset
APAC,
didn't make finals, sorry.
Yeah. And from APAC, CTBC, Flying Oyster, Captain Flowers already firing shots on Twitter towards the French army. Just some immediate thoughts from me. This is a very interesting, I think, set of teams for me, and only because it doesn't feel to me like it's the usual crew in many ways.
No.
Like, there's no PSG Talon here. There's no, not even just, there's no T1. There's no Gen G, right? Which is like another perennial Korean international challenger. Top Esports we have seen a lot of as well, but I mean, frankly, we see from China the 2 teams that I think are usually have been considered in more recent years to be like the big contenders have been BLG and JDG, right? So neither of them are here. It's Top Esports. And then obviously the big player who I think is really upsetting the apple cart is K-Corp. No G2. Yeah. Like, this is a team that really only has, in terms of like people who are internationally savvy, on that team, it's basically Yike. And I think Kana maybe, because I think when he was on T1, he might have had a little bit of international experience, like way back in the day. I'm actually double checking his. Yeah, he was on
T1 at one point.
He was on T1. He was there for Worlds 2021. That was Yeah, that was before he got replaced by Zeus.
Well, then he was on DK last year.
Yes, he was on DK. He was on DK for 2023.
Oh yeah, wow.
2023, and
Math.
then last summer.
Time flies.
Yeah, last
Yeah,
summer
right?
is when he joined K Corp. He took a break for spring, joined K Corp in the summer, and that's when they went on their run to fourth place, if you'll recall, in the summer playoffs, with a decent chunk of this same team. So, like last year, this K Corp team, the closing roster was Canna, Closer, Vladi, Upset, Targamas, and many people were looking at Upset as just as kind of like warming the seat for Callist, and then Yike also coming in to replace Closer. So this is like 60% still the same team that got fourth place in LEC Summer last year, and now here they are. They went 6-3 in the round robin. They had a couple falters in the LEC Winter Playoffs. They did get 3-1 by G2 originally in the first winners final, but then came back 3-0'd them in grand finals. I think to a lot of people's shock and surprise. But I think this team is like, from what I have watched, they're pretty legit. Like, Vladi and Callist are actually kind of cracked. They're very good players. And I think people who, and this is kind of like turning it into the LTA discussion a little bit, I don't think that folks who are looking at it and being like, oh, this should be, there's no recognizable players on this team, easy dub for Team Liquid. I don't know. I am hesitant on that one. I think Flying Oyster is still probably the like best, if you want to have like a sure bet for a win from LTA, it would probably be the Oysters. K Corp, maybe. But I think this is going to be a very interesting first stand tournament to really see what some of these teams pull out, especially K Corp and TL. Curly, how about you? How excited are you for the blue wall to descend upon Lull Park in just a week's time? I've got to believe that there's going to be some crazy French people flying out to Korea for this tournament.
For one, absolutely. I mean, there's, a caster, a well-known broadcaster that's flying out from France to Korea by the name of Lore. So, like, of course, there's other crazy French people that are going to go there. But I think, number one, it's so nice to not see Fnatic G2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It is nice to see a new...
God.
I was so happy to see literally anyone other than G2 win the LEC. Oh, my God.
Right? Absolutely.
It's been 84 years. It's been 84 years.
So refreshing. So refreshing. And then, honestly, just really impressive because, they had a, rough start year. Last year when they first... promoted up into the league, and then now they're like, all right, we're at this brand new tournament, we're the first representatives of it, we're here, and they really figured it out. So yeah, I'm actually very, very excited. I also huge fan of the French, so I like seeing the French orgs up there. And it's just, I love most of all Yike getting his just desserts after the way that G2 kind of flopped off, handling his Worlds to off-season line, because, dude, it was pretty rough. So being able to beat out your former org that kind of shafted you on the way out the door, great. Gotta feel absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, sure it does.
So very happy for him as a player. And then I'm also really actually excited for, I mentioned it a little bit last week, but for having HLE here. HLE has slowly become, I think, maybe my favorite Korean team. I struggle to pick a favorite Korean team, but I think they found their way into my heart, and especially with this Zeka Zeus combo, just big fan of it. I always like seeing Jackie 11369 at international tournaments. So Top Esports is going to be someone I keep my eye on, and the Oysters are just great with Junja. Once again coming back to international play. He just keeps making it. So I'm just this is actually a very interesting alignment of teams, and I really like it because it doesn't feel like your typical everything, kind of like you said. I want to say the two most expected teams here would be Top Esports, Team Liquid, technically. But like given recent things, the Top Esports is even a bit of an upset. So yeah, it's just going to be very interesting.
Oh no, I completely agree. I think it's going to be super interesting.
I'll just need to figure out when to watch it.
Well, this is kind of what I was theorizing earlier, right? Is like, I think they should probably do us the benefit of the doubt that they're going to put the Western teams on the later time slots, which for Eastern folks on the East Coast, that'll be at 7 a.m. It's still, I mean, and that's when it should be starting theoretically if the other series goes a full 3 games.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, it's starting at 6 a.m.
Yeah, otherwise it's starting at 6 a.m. Yeah, I mean,
Which
I
is
might
still
be I might be
early.
getting up at 4 a.m. for next week to watch some games.
Yeah, it's still early, but like for East Coasters, like if you just want to start your day early and be like maybe productive the rest of the day, like you can kind of do it. I would say Central Time and Pacific Time, you're kind of SOL because first match for me starts at 3 a.m. and if it's quick, then the second match starts at 5 a.m. and I'm just, it's not happening. I'll be utilizing the VOD channel on our Discord for sure.
Yeah. No, that's for I mean, I think for you, Knox, that first best of 3 is going to be a rough early wake up for sure. I was actually just trying to look and see. There is no schedule out yet. They do not have.
You'll probably get it like Thursday, maybe.
Yeah, it's not.
Wednesday, potentially. It's
not set at all. I'm even clicking to see. Yeah, they don't have it. It just 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. TBD versus TBD. I mean, I think like what we can do, since we can't talk about specific matchups to start. I mean, I think I want to get like a little bit of a preview, like a little bit of a prediction from you guys. Instead of naming the 4 teams, name the one team that you think is not making it to the knockout stage. Just give me the one team that you think is not making it through.
It feels cheap.
It's CFO.
It feels cheap.
It's the
why would you do such a thing? I mean,
look, it's. We know it's going to be Hanwha Life and Top Esports taking the top 2 seeds. Like, that's without question.
I mean, because really, all you got to do is not go 0-4.
It's true,
and you should be fine.
Just win one best of 3. Like, how hard could that be? Okay, legitimately, let's talk TL versus K Corp, because I think that might be the most interesting one, and maybe we'll have to revisit this next week once we actually know the schedule. But TL versus K Corp, from what you guys have been seeing, like obviously Team Liquid, some struggles in LTA. Umpty was very questionable. APA did not look like at his peak form, but they got their shit together and pulled out a masterful 3-0 over 100 Thieves in grand finals. How are you feeling about them going up against K Corp in this international format? I'm going to use the ancient narrative form of leaning on experience here. K Corp is a very young team, right? Yike is still like a very fresh player, right? This is only his second year. Vladdy and Callist, I think both have had, big stage experience thanks to the LFL, right? But like this is like a really huge international tournament versus some really huge names in Hanwha Life, Top Esports, that kind of thing. And Targamas as well, not the most experienced player internationally either. I wonder if Team Liquid's kind of the old man top lane and support, plus the experience that like Yawn and APA and Umpty have had now, just as a 5-man, maybe lends them a little bit of advantage in a best of 3 versus K Corp. Do you guys feel like I'm on the mark here, or am I way off on this?
I mean, potentially. It's really kind of uncertain for me. A lot of my eyes are going to be on the bot lane. I think that's where we might see the most interesting developments, and then like maybe might help us sway how the series will go between the two of them.
Yeah, Nox, how about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think Curly's kind of on the where I was thinking too. Just I'm looking at the bot lane and how that kind of plays out, and then because I'm expecting it to be kind of explosive, right? Like they're both very hyped.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's tough. It's a tough call.
Do you think if you had to give it like the percentage, the classic, percentage, 60-40 TL, 55-45, like how are you feeling?
I think
oh man.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of nervous because like I feel this is new. I don't know what to think of TL. TL had a great run in semifinals and finals, right? Absolutely just not even like smashed 100 Thieves. Like 100 Thieves just couldn't close it out. Like they still had early game issues, and that's kind of what I'm worried about with TL. Like like Umpty didn't have a bad series at all this playoffs, like he was in the earlier era. Impact still has moments of greatness, but also the past couple international events, Impact has been getting kind of not like smacked around, but he's been kind of irrelevant in my opinion. I really feel like it kind of because I don't think APA has been performing all that well either. He's just been kind of okay. I mean, granted, if they're dumb enough to allow him to get like Aurelion Soul Ziggs again, which there's no way they can ever allow that to happen again.
Right.
I mean, then yes, I think TL takes it no problem, but I don't expect him to let that happen. If I'm being honest, I feel like TL is probably going to be the 4th seed here, and I don't think I actually give. I don't like they're going to qualify, they're going to make playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be the ones to beat KC. So I'm going to actually lean more 40-60 in favor of KC.
Okay,
wow.
Interesting. Curly, how about you?
I'll put the 55-45, but I'm also leaning KC.
Interesting. I think I'm going to also do 55-45 for KC as well. Yeah, I think like Vladi and Kalist have just been so impressive to me in the not LEC. Well, I guess it is LEC, right? Or EMEA playoffs, right? Yeah. I think for me, it's important that Liquid just beats Flying Oyster, gets out of the group, and see what they can do in the in the semifinal stage. Maybe they get the miracle draw and they, get to go up against K Corp in in semis, and then some magic happens there in best of 5. It is going to be fearless, right? So I think that's really exciting. I'm excited to see, some of these best of 5s, like where they go. I mean, we're only getting 3 of them, but still excited to see where they go. I think even some of these best of 3s can be really exciting. If the K Corp TL one goes to 3 games. If any of the Flying Oyster ones go to 3 games, if Top versus Hanwha Life goes to 3 games, I think that'll be really interesting. See what gets pulled out in game 3. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm leaning towards Hanwha Life just taking the whole thing. And that's just kind of my initial take. Do you guys have like a different feel on who might take the whole tournament?
No, I think it's HLE. I don't think top esports. China in general, in my opinion, like it kind of sucks. I wish this China was the China that we were dealing with like last year or something, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't look that good to me, in my opinion.
Right.
I think they're very vulnerable. But then at the same time, I think NA as a whole this year so far has kind of regressed. And I think in general, EU is kind of like, well, EU's gone up from where they were last year, in my opinion, but they're still not at a level to be able to compete with Eastern teams, I don't think. So it kind of sucks because I think China's actually vulnerable, and that second seed's kind of up for grabs in most other years. But unfortunately, I don't think NA or EU is up to the snuff to be able to handle it, you know?
Yeah. No, I think that's all fair. Curly, how about you?
I don't know. I think it would be pretty spicy if top like really kind of show up, especially because they've got some heavy hitting names over there. You've got 369, you've got Kanavi, you've got Jackie Love. Like if you watch just Worlds for the last few years, you see all those names consistently, reliably, and their teams always look good, and they always look good. So there's something about international play that I feel kind of affects some of these teams, and I feel like top is one of them. That's like, all right, now that we're out of we're done scrap fighting ourselves. Let's go show up.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. Excited to see how first in goes. 4 a.m. for you East Coasters. That'll be the first match Monday morning. Set those alarms and be prepared to get up at the crack o' dawn.
Not anymore. Not in my life.
Speaking of, really quick, this was not a scheduled topic, but I was noticing it. I actually have two very quick scheduled topics or unscheduled topics. First of all, did you guys know that this has been a thing for several years now, but the LCK, LDL, which is the China Development League, the Vietnam Challenger Series, the Japan Challenger Series, and the PCS Challenger Series, they send their top teams to this like huge tournament in the middle of the season. So this has been going on since apparently 2022, but I'm looking at the one this year because it's called Asia Masters 2025 Swiss 1. There's going to be two of these, actually. This is a 32-team Swiss tournament.
Wow.
All 10 teams from LCK Challengers, all 10 teams from LDL, 4 teams from LJL, the top 4 VCS teams, and the top 4 PCS teams. This is actually kind of hype.
That's insane.
Mainly because it means we get to scout the next generation of LTA North talent. Unironically,
oh man,
it was funny. I was looking through some of the rosters from previous years, and I was like looking at the DK Challengers and T1 Challengers teams. So it was like, oh, there's Thanatos. Oh, there's Lucid. Oh, there's Jiwoo. Oh, okay. So it's all these guys who are now in NA or playing, playing in Korea now. So super cool. But that's super.
You know what's absolutely crazy?
That starts March 5th, by the way.
Is that so? Because okay, I'm looking at it now. These are actually the academy teams. These are the tier 2 teams for each other. So what's crazy for me is that these academy teams are getting more international experience in the tier. Well, I guess technically now.
Well, because now there's there's the international tournament for tier 2 NA and South America, but they're only going to play against each other. Like, why can't we have the tier 2 North American teams?
I don't even know if that's happening.
Well, why can't we have the tier 2 NA teams or LTA teams go play against like the top 4 EMEA Masters teams? Why can't that happen?
Yeah, I would love
this
that
is
to happen, absolutely.
And this is probably not. This is probably not a LAN, if I had to guess. This is probably all online, but still.
Even so,
like this is some.
That's a lot. That's cool.
This is a 17-day tournament.
Wow.
That 32 teams are in. They're just gonna run 7 rounds of Swiss, and it gets you like points, and then I guess you do it again at the end of summer and then they'll have like a finals or whatever. But that's crazy. The other really quick thing I wanted to bring up, because it did garner a little bit of controversy, the first iteration of the AWS Global Power Rankings came out.
Yeah.
And there's just some really funny stuff in here to me.
Hey, we're still better than Team Liquid. Somehow.
We're ranked number
I'll
11 in the world. Leviathan Esports, the team that took second for LTA South, they are ranked last in the world, unironically, which is just fascinating to me. There are no LTA South teams ranked above an LTA North team. The closest thing is Dignitas is ranked 47, and Isris Astral is ranked 49. And they're only separated by 7 points, so it's kind of close. The rankings of the bottom 4 LTA North teams is really interesting. In order, it's Lion, Disguised, Shopify, Dignitas. And they get ranked at 36, 39, 43, and 47, respectively. Only separated... Like, Dignitas has 1,190 points, whatever points means in this scenario. And Lion has 1,223, so only, like... that's a 33-point difference, which is really not a lot.
No.
But it's just amazing to me that they're basing this off of, Lion and Disguised, the two teams that went 0-2 in LTA North, ranked above the teams that beat them. So that's just...
What are these stats? What is the judgment here?
I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah.
Very, very strange.
Very, very strange. All right, final thing tonight. This is going to be a super quick thing. FlyQuest Counter-Strike 2 is at... they are at ESL Pro League Season 21 Stage 1. They're doing Swiss right now. Top 8 teams move on to Stage 2. This is in Stockholm, Sweden. Today, FlyQuest... they lost their first match against M80, but then they 2-0'd Lin Vision, and then they 2-1'd Pain. Pain being the number 11 team in the world. FlyQuest, by the way,
a massive upset.
Big upset. FlyQuest, by the way, has dropped to number 28 in the world ranking now. Actually, I'm sorry. Yes, 28 in the world ranking, so not the best. I think they have had some movement around. They dropped a player. They brought in Regali, who previously was on... he was on OG and then Entropeak as well. He joined FlyQuest back in December, which might account for the little bit of the drop in Val points. Nox, just want to ask you really quick, any observations from you on FlyQuest Counter-Strike, what it would mean to get to the next stage of this ESL tournament and perform well there?
So I'm not exactly sure on what the I don't want to say repercussions. What's the positive version of repercussions? What's the word for that?
Implications?
Implications. Thank you. I'm not exactly sure what the implications are of us beating Pain. Apparently, the VRS system that's been like implemented for CS2 ever since CS2 came out, like the ranking systems for that. Like when you get a win over a team that's higher ranked for you, it does a lot for your respective region and where you qualify for like a major, so to speak. Okay. So this win over Pain, like it doesn't solidify anything, so to speak, but it does a lot of work for the Oceanic region in general, as well as just FlyQuest's chances of like qualifying for a major in general. It makes their path easier every time you get a win like this, right? So massive win in that sense. They will be playing Eternal Fire, which is a Turkish team, I believe tomorrow, if not the day after. I forget what the schedule is.
It is tomorrow, yes, March 4th.
Okay. So they'll be playing the Turkish team. Everything I was reading online, this Turkish team is actually supposed to be really, really good.
Better than Pain. Like, they are number 7 in the world, so...
Yeah,
Wow.
so a lot of people are expecting kind of to take the L on this one, and hopefully we can sneak into stage 2 off of the 5th and final match. But hopefully the boys actually just show up and just end it right there and get into stage 2. But yeah, no, I think in general the win against Payne is absolutely massive. It's a pretty big upset. And for what I saw, I was like working. I had it on my side monitor, and again, I'm not a CS expert or anything, but it didn't seem like Payne was like giving the maps over easily to them. It was a hard fought battle, especially map 3. I really want to give a shout out to Liaz and Regali. I thought they had some brilliant moments of just absolutely shutting down Payne's defense on when they were on CT side. So I thought props for them. They had some great entries, and then they had some great site holds afterwards. After when they got on the site, I don't know much more past that point because I'm not a CS expert. But those two, especially, I know were racking up kills and doing a great job of just shutting down any of Payne's advances.
Nice. Curly, any thoughts here before I close it?
I mean, dude, always love to hear that FlyQuest is winning.
Absolutely. I think I'm just looking at some of the other teams that qualified. I feel bad. The two teams that qualified from Oceania, Mind Freak and House Bets, they lost all 3 of their matches. Their round differentials, negative 37 and negative 56.
Really,
Oh, boy.
really
It
bad.
was 3 straight 2-0s. Hang on, I'm gonna pull up these. I think this is just gonna show, I think, to folks that FlyQuest, Australian Counter-Strike, right, is like really good for Australia because the other teams that are coming out of Australia, not good. So I'm just trying to find the. Dang, I cannot find what the actual. Oh, here it is. Yes, it was 13-4 and then 13-11. 13-6, 13-5, 13-4, 13-11. That was Mind Freak. And then for House Bets, 13-5, 13-5, 13-3, 13-3, and 13-3, 13-3. So, not the best, one might say.
No, not
I've
at
gone a little
all.
blurry here, so let me try to reset my camera. Nothing's... Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Hi, there I am. Yes. So I think that just goes to show FlyQuest Counter-Strike carrying Australia on their backs, for sure. All right, well, I think that's all the topics we got for tonight. Bit of a quicker show, for sure. Any final topics from you guys before we start wrapping up?
I mean, there was just a little teaser we might have seen on Twitter earlier.
Yes, Knox.
Something
Curly,
about
one of you take it
Groot
away.
and Marvel Rivals. It's 15 seconds of graphics. There's not much you can pull from that.
I mean, Knox, what
I've-
do you know? What can you tell us about this teaser trailer that we saw on Twitter today?
So it is for Marvel Rivals. I will also say it's not a sponsorship, which means you can probably infer that it is a team of some sort. I don't know what the team is. I don't know how serious it is. And I would expect the announcement to come out sometime tomorrow in the afternoon.
Is there, from what I heard, there's like some kind of invitational
Yes,
that is coming up soon. I saw Sentinels announce that they have a team that they are sponsoring now for Marvel Rivals.
Yes,
Yeah,
Sentinels, 100 Thieves, and Luminosity Gaming are the 3 big ones I saw, along with supposedly us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's the assumptions going around.
I know absolutely nothing about Marvel Rivals except for these 3 things. It's kind of like Overwatch. It has Marvel characters, and they are rivals. That's about all I know. So
Oh goodness.
that's the extent of my knowledge on Marvel Rivals. And I saw a lot of streamers pick it up lately because that's what they do. You know what I miss? I was thinking about this the other day. one of the few things I miss from the COVID times is when everyone was playing Fall Guys. Do you guys remember Fall Guys?
Yeah, Fall Guys.
That was pretty good.
Fall Guys and
I never played it myself, but it looked fun.
Fall Guys and full lobby like of friends Among Us. Oh,
Yeah, dude.
that was peak.
We heard,
yeah.
we heard some friendships playing Among Us.
We should get like a flight check Among
Us night.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
You will not trust
The
me
show
after
might get
playing Among
canceled.
Us.
We might have to cancel the show after that. Oh boy. Well,
I am so shady in Among Us.
We'll table that one. All right. Well, I think we'll close things out from there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of Flight Check. First stand, 4 a.m. next Monday. Sorry, West Coasters. You're having a tough time of it. East Coasters, on the other hand, we're going to be eating good at breakfast time. That's for sure. I'm ready for those 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. best of threes, baby. Lock me in.
Woohoo. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cannot wait. No, it'll be all good. We'll be right there on Twitter with all of our reactions and thoughts. You can catch the show at Flight Check Crew, myself at SantosDB, Knox at NoxWar with 2 R's, and Curly at Curly_QQ_. Make sure to hop into the Flight Check Discord as well. All kinds of esports discussion and leaked photos, behind-the-scenes photos taking place over there. If you missed any part of the episode, you can catch the VOD on YouTube tonight or tomorrow morning. And if you're watching that and want to catch the show live, I've got great news for you. We broadcast the episode pretty much every Monday night, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at twitch.tv/FlightCheckCrew, except for the times that Curly has to restart his computer right before the show starts, and we have to wait an extra 15 minutes to start the show because
it's fine
because his monitor is disconnected. But it's totally okay, and none of us minded, really. It was totally fine. Curly, any final notes, shout-outs, or plugs before we wrap up?
Shout out to whoever can get me a new freaking core motherboard, and what's the other thing I need?
Dedicated RAM, perhaps?
RAM, yeah. So if anyone can get me that, shout out to you. You are the bomb.
Nice.
But no, the my other shout out today is to the Cleveland Orchestra website for letting me in time to get Leve tickets. I will be seeing her in August. And shout out to Apple Replay for showing me that, I still listen to Leve a lot, but actually I have great diversity. I looked at my replay, I did the math. My top 5, less than a third. I listened to a lot of different music last month.
Wow, good for you. I'm impressed.
So yeah.
Not bad. Knox, how about you? Final shout-outs or plugs?
I want to acknowledge that the NACL Open qualifiers are happening.
Yes.
Not right now, but this past weekend and next weekend. I gotta tell you, man, this is the first time that, and not that it really matters because this happens no matter what, but I think people are kind of missing out because it's the first time the NACL Discord has been open to the public.
Ooh.
And there's been some wild stuff that it's y'all are just airing this out here and anyone can see this.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
There's been some interesting stuff, but outside of that, you should
a little crazy.
You should absolutely tune in next weekend. Double Lift's team is playing. They're playing against University of California, Irvine this coming weekend. There's a bunch of other teams that are really hyped coming up into the NACL possibly. Respawn's team, Tempest Gaming, Ducky Getters. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool teams and a bunch of cool players that I think have a really good shot at getting in the NACL, and so should be really, really fun and exciting. And then last shout out is I'm going to give it to myself because I have an absolutely insane top 4 record in TFT right now. Over the course of 27 games, I've top 4'd 21 of them. So that is a really, really insane top 4 record. So I hit plat in basically 4 or 5 days time. So props to me. I popped off.
Props to you indeed. That's amazing. We are real proud of you for that one. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna just note like a couple teams that are just gonna meet. Respawn, obviously. YBN1 is interesting. That's NXI, Triple, and Meech's team, as well as I believe the top laner is Lunacia, who also was affiliated with FlyQuest once upon a time. So if you like FlyQuest X players, that is a team to keep an eye on. They play Friendly Fellas on March 8th at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 o'clock Pacific Time. Another really interesting team, one that got upset early on, Citadel.
Yeah,
Citadel. That team is the Phillip team, I believe.
Yep, it is Phillips.
And they got knocked out by, I'm looking, Friendly Fellas, which is another really interesting team.
Which is who YNK1 is playing this coming weekend.
Yes, yeah. And that's a random team because it's literally like it's 2 challengers, 2 masters, and a diamond 3. That's crazy to me. That team beat Philip, Instinct, Armeo, and Bradley. Unironically.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun parts about OQ.
Yeah.
Nice.
The 63rd ranked team, by the way, and this isn't lower bracket, so I think they're playing like against a 30th seed. So
yeah.
The thing is, the 63rd seed is mainly like diamond players,
right?
Like diamond, plat, and I think they had 1 masters. They took a game off of like 3 challengers, 2 a grandmaster, and a master team. Like,
yeah.
There could be massive upsets that happen in a giant tournament like this. And that's what kind of makes it fun.
It's crazy. Bikini Bottom Warriors is another interesting team. Omli is on that team. Yeah, so I think some really interesting matchups coming up this weekend. My shout out though, and there's actually still several collegiate teams in it as well. Grandview, Fisher, St. Clair Saints. I think that's it in the lower bracket. Oh, and University of California playing near Airport. That one, I will say, near Airport, UCI, that's if Double F's team is going to get knocked to lower bracket, it'll be versus either UCI or Respawn to the next round. That's my bet.
Yeah. I forget, when did they play Ducky Getters? Do they play Ducky Getters at all?
They would if Near Airport wins their next 2 and Ducky Getters wins their next 2, then they will play each other. Yes.
If there was a finals match, they would.
But
they just they
will play each other. They would play each other in the winner qualifies.
Is it qualification match?
Basically, everybody that's still in the upper bracket needs to win 3 more. In 3 more upper bracket matches to qualify.
Leaguepedia? Oh, whatever.
I'm looking at the battle right now. So.
But point is, Ducky Getters is another team that you should really keep an eye on. I think they could absolutely knock Double F down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, they've got. I don't recognize any of these accounts. Mickey X fan account is one of the players. So okay, my shout out really quickly. The Nationals and the Baltimore Orioles finally resolved their long-standing litigation issues, and now Nationals fans might actually be able to watch Nats games on not Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, and that means that we'll actually get TV rights and revenue, and actually be able to pay players and maybe be competitive once again. Things are looking up for baseball, at least in the nation's capital. TBD on other stuff. We take those wins. All right. We'll be back next week to discuss the first day of First Stand and talk about the rest of the tournament, how it might just shake out. So for now, stay safe out there and bite your teeth. Don't forget to hit the head on the nail. And we will see you all very, very soon. Adios, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.